So before I was a pharmacy manager at a grocery store chain. I've been with the company for almost 11 years. I just left about 2 months ago. So I'd been in retail pharmacy my entire pharmacist career. I just felt like I could do something more and something that would be safer and better for my family and work-life balance. I felt like I could do something more than make a multi-billion-dollar company more money. It's never enough. The stress and the impact it had on my health, working that day to day, it was just overwhelming. So I had wanted to leave my former employer for about 5 years. They kept making cuts and kept making cuts to technician help, and it was just it's just becoming more and more and more unsafe. And I had less and less and less time to interact with patients. I tried to work as safely as possible. Luckily, I never made any mistakes or anything like that that were detrimental, but it just weighed on me. What if I'm doing too much and I hurt somebody? That's not something that I can live with or would want to do. We shouldn't be in that position at all to do that, but it's just the way these corporations are set up. That's the way they operate. And I worked for one of the better ones, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then the pandemic started, then COVID shots began, and I was doing 70 shots a day with very little help, and I was not able to get people timely care. It was overwhelming, and it was way too much, and I just felt terrible and crushed every day and just so helpless. And at first, when the Health and Human Services approved technicians to give vaccines, my company said, we're not going to train them and have them do shots. And it broke me. I was crying and crying, and my husband said, okay, Jennifer, you got to do something. I had looked at Happy PharmD before. I was like, do I want to make the investment in this? I was like, I don't know. But my husband's like, you cannot continue on like this. And he's like, I really want you to do it. I think it's worth the money. You're worth the money to do this. Now I am doing some contract work on the side, but my main focus is to open up a nonprofit pharmacy called Good Shepherd here in Nashville. It already exists in Memphis, so I'm working with them on their team, and we're attempting to open up that second location here. So I'm in the nonprofit space, which after the coaching, that's what it clearly showed me what I should do. I started working with them last April, so it's been almost a year. So it's a long, slow process. I'm just trying to be patient.
Yes.
And I was glad that I could leave my former employment to focus more of my energy on doing this. So there's, a lot of pharmacists that are just stuck in their jobs and complaining about it, and they're miserable. And then there's other people pioneering and doing things about it, doing things differently. And I love that. It's a great untapped resource. I feel like people just look at LinkedIn and they're like, oh, okay, well, this is where I'm going to apply for a job. But it's so much more than that if you find the right people. And there are a lot of great people out there. So I started with Happy PharmD last January, and I found Good Shepherd in April. And the way it happened, I mean, there's absolutely no way I would be in this place without Happy PharmD. The connections that I made with LinkedIn, learning really more about LinkedIn and how to do that, and leverage contacts and people that and getting to know other people. I've met some really cool people that practice pharmacy and doing really neat, innovative things with pharmacy through LinkedIn. So I'd like to say to you, if you've been working on trying to find something different and you haven't been successful in doing that, doing this process can help you think of things that you've never thought of before. And it's definitely worth the money to do that. They look at a bunch of different aspects about you and your personality and what drives you, and what can just have you wake up in the morning just thrilled to do what you do every day, almost even unpaid, to do it. Just what will bring you joy, and then what the world needs in addition to that. So it's really great to open the doors and have you explore things that maybe you never even thought about yourself or realized about yourself that you could do.